Alright, so in this document you see we have a file called symbols1.foa, and if you look here you have a bunch of smiley faces that I drew, and these are all raw shapes, as you can see. So if we were to play this movie, control enter on your computer, or command enter or return, whatever it is on your Mac, you'd see we have a window come up with all these smiley faces. And if you were to go to document, new folder, you'd see we have the file has been made for us. So if we were to click this, and then you'd see the file. If we look at the size, it's 4 kilobytes, and that's not very big, not even something very big, just so little. And these raw shapes take up a lot of memory if you posted it a million times. Now, let's say that you wanted to have just one of these images saved once, and then just let the flash copy it over and over again without actually repeating the image. What do I mean by this? Let's delete all the smiley faces. So I'm going to delete except one. Gonna make sure to delete that. Select this, double click, press F8, and you get this convert to symbol. And now what this does is, if you were to convert something to a symbol, it's going to be saved once in Flash and not a bunch of times if it's a raw images, and then Flash will just copy that without actually saving what each image looks like, only saving what each image looks like once. Let's name this smiley face, or just smiley. And if you have going to name a symbol, you don't want to have any spaces or characters called wild characters, like exclamation point, the A symbol, the pound, just lowercase letters, uppercase letters, and numbers. And then you get the type: movie clip, button, and graphic. We're going to say this is a graphic. And if we have this registration point, which we'll talk about later, and the library root, and we have these advanced options, but we're not going to talk about them yet. So basic, okay. And now you see we get this blue border, and if we were to look to our library, we have that image saved in our library, and we can just drag this onto the stage. And I'm going to drag this 24 times onto the stage, because in the other file we had 24 images. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause the video until I'm done. Alright, now I have 24 of these, and now I'm going to play the movie. Control enter. Nothing's changed, but if we were to look at the file now, it's now 1 kilobyte. Now why does this happen when we use a symbol instead of a raw image? This happens because in a raw image, it's going to save, the Flash is going to save what it looks like again and again and again and again and again and again. If we were to convert it to a symbol once and then paste these all over again, it's going to save how it looks like once. And then if we post the image, it's just going to use that whatever the image was looked like in the original one. It's going to save it again. It's not going to save it again and again and just post it up without saving it. So let's say we wanted to edit this. You would double click inside the symbol, and now you see that the symbol is a raw image. Let's zoom in on this with the zoom tool, and I'll talk about how to use this later. Zoom in, user select tool. Oops, undo that. If we were to change this smiley face, you'd see that the other images will change as well. And that's why that only happens because we saved this image once, and it's just copying what the image in the library is. So if one was to change, the rest would change. Undo that. And if you see, we have a timeline for the smiley, and a symbol has its own timeline. If we were to make it 20 frames, I'll explain how to do this later, but if it's in 20 frames and then we go back to the main timeline, which is scene 1, you'd see that we only have 1 frame. Each of these symbols one symbol, one image has its own timeline. Whatever you do to one will happen to the same. But what we can change is if we were to click the transform tool, select one of the image, we can change the size or make it upside down, as you can see here, without the others changing. So you can edit the image in symbol mode, but not in its raw mode if you were to use the select tool. And that's what the symbol is. And now let's look at the library for a second. A library is where everything's gonna get saved. If you have a sound, it's gonna get saved in here. If you have an image, it's gonna get saved in here. Symbols, movie clips, all of them. If we were to, let's say, draw a circle, you'd see that's not in the library because it's not really anything but a raw shapes. Raw shapes don't get really saved unless it's converted into something. Let's delete that. And you have these options right here to add a new symbol, in which we won't really do that if we were to put symbol 2. Okay, then that will give us this the option of creating a symbol, a raw symbol. So let's just draw something. Not really picking what we're gonna do here. No. Brush. We'd see we have this new symbol called symbol 2. Drag it onto the stage, and you see it's a bit big, but you'd see that creates a new symbol. Let's say that we had symbols. Let's put symbols. Let's drag both of these symbols in here, and you can create folders to be more organized, because you want to be organized. Let's say you had sounds or images. You want to put sounds in a folder for itself and images in one folder, symbols in another folder, and you get what I mean. We have this other option called properties. We can click that. Symbol properties for the properties of a symbol. And you see we don't have some of the options like registration point and forgot what was here. Library view, that's what it was. We have advanced as usual. And we can't really change that much, and we have this delete. So let's say we want to delete symbol 2. You click delete. Now that symbol's gone. You can organize your whatever you have in your library by name, linkage. If we were to drag this, the use count, date modified, the type, and if you see we have the type this is a graphic symbol. If we keep dragging, and that's it for this. You have no more. You have these pin current library, new library panel, and we can get more library panels. This is a new one. We could link this, and I'll talk about how to pin this and link it to other FLA files, which is kind of confusing me right now. I can understand that, but I'll explain it. And that's it for our symbols. And it's important to know symbols because you'll be using it for the majority of everything. Thanks for watching.